All right. You ready for Stan the Plumber Man?
Well, it's one of the few things that's actually wonderful about this, so let's do it.
All right. If he can't flush it, no one can.
When these dads meet world, watching Boy Meets World. We grew up on the show, now we have kids and host a podcast. We watch each episode and then share our thoughts and grades. When these dads meet world.
They want you to take the roles.
Come on in, good looking people. Enjoy the rolls. This week they are extra special. They are wedding rolls. You can hear the bells ringing. You can hear the romance in the air.
Can we be honest? Sometimes when you get to a wedding and they got a roll, you're like, these are the special rolls.
Speaking of weddings, good looking people, I used to do wedding videography years ago. I just 15 minutes before I hopped on here to record. By the way, dad number 1 this week, Brett, hopping on with dad number 2.
You know who does?
That's my superpower. With our weekly deep dive into the world of Boy Meets World. Not 15 minutes before we hopped on to record tonight, I got an email from a couple that I did the videography for their wedding 6-7 years ago, wondering if I had their full wedding video. Yeah, I did their package years ago. I did the full wedding video, a highlight video, some other stuff, and gave it to them on a Blu-ray disc. And their highlight video was shareable online, so they could share it with friends and family and whatnot. And the husband sent me a brief email asking if I had their full wedding video that I could send them in digital format. I'm like, it's 6-7 years later. I'm like, I don't know if I still have that hard drive that works. So I'm going to have to go looking to see if I still have it. I don't know if I do. So
that's fair.
Very apropos that we're talking wedding this week. How are you doing, Tyler?
You also did have that flood, so there's a strong chance.
Yeah, I had that flood. That may have that may hinder that capability, because I already looked through a couple drives tonight and I'm not finding it.
Yeah, I'm good. We are just as of release of episode, school for us will be officially in swing. So I'm assuming everything's gone perfectly fine. We've not shown up late, and I'm sure all of the people on my bus are well behaved and not giving me attitude.
Yes.
Yes, I'm returning to driving school bus. My plan was to retire from school bus driving, and that didn't happen. So I'll be returning to it. But luckily, we're going to be putting my what I make on school bus directly towards vacation. So yay!
All right. Well, good for you there.
Yeah. Well, we're going to use it to go visit my grandma. So.
Yes, and good looking people, we do you an apology. Last week we were not here. It was my fault this time. We were moving my eldest into college, so it was just
my
too
fault
much.
Too. I could have said something to you sooner.
It was just a lot of work, and we were down there for 2 extra days doing orientation and everything. So,
oh wow,
we are down to 2 kids at home.
How's it feel?
It feels weird. The house is much more empty, and we haven't moved Asher into Abby's bedroom yet. So,
too sad to yet.
Haven't got in there to finish clearing it out yet.
Fair.
Well, Tyler, I think we should dive into this week's episode and explore the world of Stan the Plumber Man.
I think we need to talk about Stan, local legend Stan the Plumber Man.
That's right. Well, good looking people, we are talking about the 18th episode. There are only going to be 4 more after this week in season 6. Can you believe it?
Yes.
Can I help to cheer you? Topanga is in wedding planning mode and persuades, read strong arms, Cory into accompanying her, Shawn, and Angela to a posh ceremony in the hall of her dreams, where an unhappy father of the bride offers Cory $1 million or more to marry his daughter. Meanwhile, Tommy pleads with a heartbroken Eric to adopt him so that he would not have to move to California. This episode was written by Barry Safchik, directed by Jerry Levine. Not sure which eye he likes to use there. This is his first of 5 that he will direct, including It's About Time, She's Having My Baby Back Ribs, Brotherly Shove, and that name should sound a little familiar to you good-looking people, because that is Mr. Mac himself from Cult Fiction. I told you he'd be back. Originally aired on March 12th, 1999, about 3 weeks after our last episode, so fitting that we took a break.
Mm-hmm.
Has an IMDb rating currently of 7.6. That's a half point higher than our last episode, and is currently tied for 11th place with Friendly Persuasion, Poetic License, An Ode to Holden Caulfield, and Getting Hitched. And look at the Nielsen numbers. Our last episode, Resurrection, pulled in 11.73 million viewers. Tyler, how do you think we did after a 3-week break?
Oh, I feel like we got had at least a little bit of a drop, maybe about the 10 or so.
Well, you bounced the wrong direction. We actually bounced up to 12.02 million viewers.
That's so weird.
Yes, it is. No stunt casting either.
That's so funny.
I wish I could remember how they marketed this one.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I almost wonder if they had done a stunt casting, that would have made people not tune in. I swear, every time they do a stunt casting, it backs up in their favor and doesn't work.
Yeah, they probably went with the really wacky casting, and people wanted to tune in after all the heavy melodrama of the last couple episodes.
Could be.
Then they pull the rug out from under them with the Eric subplot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get into this episode, can we agree upon something? Tommy and Eric's storyline needed more time and needed to be dealt with smoother. And instead of
It was very rushed.
All right, I'm okay with them rushing it, but like, I feel like the episode right after Christmas, they should have had Tommy just there in the background, not doing anything, almost a glorified extra. Like, hey, that's Tommy, that's that random kid. And then when the whole situation happens with Amy going into labor, and in our rewrite, it would be that Cory was just upset because Topanga planned a party on Valentine's Day, ignoring Cory, and Cory's upset because his feelings weren't taken into consideration. Now he purposely planned a party for his mother in a day, and so I feel like if we could have had Tommy just in the episode already, and just kind of, it's almost like someone could have even said, like, it's like Tommy's just a part of our family, he fits in so well, and kind of allowed that to be like Eric is thinking about, well, what if Tommy was in our family, and to have
it is a quick turn. It's a quick turn for him. Yes,
right. I mean, I think Eric handles it well at first, and like, well, Tommy, I can't adopt you, buddy. Like, that's not possible. And Tommy guilts him into it. And
Yeah.
he's just like, well, no one will support me. Fine, I'm gonna adopt Tommy. And it's like, revenge is not the reason to adopt a child ever.
That's the best reason. What are you talking about?
So I just wish that, like, the whole storyline of Tommy, I guess, could have been wrapped up in the storyline of Josh. And, like, the scene we get with Tommy and Eric is amazing. But I wish we could have had a scene after that where Eric is talking with Josh and talking about the hard decision he had to make, and, you know, like, just talking about life with him. And that's part of what helps Josh, because his brother is just talking to him like he would talk to Cory, and even says something like that. It just feels like our writers put themselves in a corner and didn't know how to get out of it. And instead of really coming up with a big good plan for, like, a couple solid, really dramatic episodes, and then go into the silly episode of Stan the Plumber Man. Like, oh, just all of the stuff we talked about last time for Cory and Topanga not being on the same page, they're still not on the same page, Brad. Like, I don't understand. I don't.
Yeah. Well, let's dive into it.
Let's get into it. I can't.
We'll beat it up as we go along. Because we've got the student union. We've got Eric and Tommy. We pan across. Eric and Tommy are in the student union for some reason. We'll get back to them. And Cory and Topanga are debating / discussing setting a date for the wedding, when just a few episodes back they had a date 9 months in the future. And they're talking about how the hall picks the date, and they've got to get this hall squared away. And
any hall
Cory is
renting,
just done.
they pick the date.
Yes, exactly. Cory is just done.
Yeah.
Does this remind you at all of your own wedding planning, or was yours a little bit easier than this?
No, ours was so much easier than this.
Yes.
Like, okay, I will say this. Topanga wants Cory to be involved, but she's not listening to Cory. And so she either needs to embrace the fact of, I'm going to plan the wedding, I'm going to take care of most of the responsibilities. Like, for whatever reason, she's like, Cory, I need your help. I need your opinion. It's like, do you? Like, my wife and I, like, when we got engaged, the first thing we decided was, hey, like, literally it was that night I said, hey, let's pick a date. Let's pick a time, like, the date that we agree that we'd like to get married. Let's just make that one decision, and then we'll work on all the decisions after that. So we picked our date. We had changed the date, but it was only a week difference. So we were in agreement of, week out, weekend, those type of fun things. So, but I don't understand like what she's trying to do, because she's nagging, pestering, and just, like, she's trying to get an answer from him, but there's no answer she can give her right now that she's going to be happy with. Like, Cory proposed, which means now it's on couple to figure out, okay, now what's next step. But a lot of times, and myself included, was my wife was leading the charge in, these are the wedding things we have to deal with. Remember, you have to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah, and you're just along for the ride. And we've got a stereotypical bride is running the show, groom is along for the ride, and just is very much exhausted and doesn't want to be there.
Well, but Brett, it sounds like Topanga's planning the whole thing on her own, but then they say when they're at the reception or at the wedding, oh, the Mr. Beckman, the wedding planner, said we could be here. So there is a wedding planner.
Well, is it their wedding planner, or is it a wedding planner that she's been talking to that has been planning this wedding? Which, by the way, really big wedding faux pas. Don't let wedding crashers come to your wedding. just to scope it out. I don't know
Yeah,
any groom and bride that would be happy with that setup.
I don't understand that either. Like, there's one thing if it's like a hey, these are our guests, yada yada. But like, I would imagine that they would be able to afford it if they're there as guests.
Yeah, that's a Hollywood thing. People, good looking
Yeah.
people. That's not a real world thing where people say, "Oh yeah, sure." The wedding planner's got a few plus ones that they just want to check it out. Sure.
And when you're working with a wedding planner, we didn't work with a wedding planner, but I know that when you do, you have to give them a budget. And then they will
Mm-hmm.
tell you what type of venue you can afford, then what type of
Yep.
catering you can afford, what type of entertainment then you can afford, and they will work those things out for you. So this show is trying to have its cake and eat it too, Brett.
Yeah.
And
And I didn't see any cake.
I'm not gonna blame the characters again or the actors. This is a showrunner writing situation.
Totally. Yeah. So Cory and Topanga are gonna leave. They're gonna go meet with whatever wedding planner, whether it's theirs or one that they're just scoping out. And we'll go over to see Eric and Tommy, who are talking about how great they are together. They're better than their best team since Scooby Doo and Shaggy. And Tommy wants to know what's taken so long. Why is Eric dragging his feet? Why hasn't he adopted him yet? And we talked about this already. Eric's got the right answer. I don't think they're going to let me adopt you, Tommy. They're going to tell me it's not possible. Eric's got the right answer. He's not in a position in his life where he can or should be adopting anyone.
Correct.
He's left his apartment. He's sleeping on his parents' couch. He has no job. He is a full-time student. There is not a single adoption agency in the world that would be giving him a kid
Mm-hmm.
at all. Not to mention the fact that he couldn't afford any of the fees associated with adoption.
Yeah. I'm gonna take the fun approach, Brett. Is there a better dynamic duo that we could think about that's at least somewhat Disney affiliated for this situation? Like, I mean, Scooby. I get Scooby and Shaggy are a classic example, but like,
This is the House of Mouse.
right? House of Mouse. Like, I feel like they could have said Donald and Mickey or whatever, or Mickey
and Pluto.
Pluto. That would have been a good example. Genie and Aladdin could have been a good one at this time.
Yeah. Aladdin and Abu.
Yeah, Aladdin and Abu. That's a good one. I mean, there's not many. I mean, the best dynamic duo is Batman and Robin, obviously, but there's not.
Obviously.
Right now, they don't have a good comic book affiliation in 1999.
Yeah.
They can't use Power Rangers right now because Tommy would have been too young. Disney didn't know them yet.
No, he wouldn't have. But Tommy wants to know, why won't you save me? That'll put guilt on you.
Yeah, the wording that they're having Tommy, this 8-year-old, I believe they said at this time, is using is very ridiculous.
Quite.
Like, and again, I know that Tommy loves Eric and they have a special relationship. We've seen that, but does he have such a special, amazing relationship with him that Tommy can only see his life with Eric?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they've shown that to be the case. So, I don't know. This is going to be a fun record for us.
Oh, yeah. So that's the end of Act 1. And Act 2 is going to take us into the wedding hall itself, where we've got wedding crashers, we've got valets, we've got...
It's like the size of the apartment.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's not a very big wedding hall. I know it's TV magic. If you look at TV, most sitcoms, I mean, even into How I Met Your Mother, Actually, this is kind of the same size of that wedding hall and How I Met Your Mother.
Mm-hmm.
But whoa, I'm dropping stuff over here.
Whoa, calm
But
down.
whoa, be careful, crazy. But we've got all these wedding crashers here. And by the way, the wedding crashers are wearing tuxedos to a wedding. Not that they're going to stand out like sore thumbs or anything wearing the same things that the wedding party's wearing.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but when I go to a wedding, I wear a suit, not a tuxedo.
Yeah. Unless you are the officiant or one of the people in the party or giving away, you should be wearing something that you almost become wallpaper. You're not
Yeah.
noticed.
I have a friend once that showed up to a friend. He showed up to our friend's wedding. He was a college friend. We all showed up and, we're all suits, dresses and stuff. And this one particular friend in our group showed up in sweats.
Mm.
Yep.
Mm.
Don't know why. He just did.
That's the way it goes. Yeah, no, I don't think random guests should be wearing suits, although I think it's a wedding. You gotta wear a suit. I mean, I don't know. I guess unless it's like a black tie event, but
Now,
no
this type
one's
of a
wearing...
fancy wedding, I would expect them to come in a coat and tie.
Right.
Yeah.
But like it's not like everyone else is to the nines either, though.
Yeah, they definitely stand out in their tuxedos.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah.
But that's where...
I love how Cory just accidentally stumbles onto this very important conversation that's happening around him.
Yeah. Yes, we first meet Stan the, and I put in parentheses Stan the plumber man, because he's only credited in IMDb as Stan, played by Richard Portnow. First and only time we'll see him on Boy Meets World. This man has 198 acting credits and 6 more coming. This was a good get for Boy Meets World back in the day. Good Morning Vietnam, Dear John, Twins, Say Anything, Kindergarten Cop, Father of the Bride, Sister Act, Seinfeld, The Nanny, Lois and Clark, Seven, Walker, Texas Ranger, all before Boy Meets World. Spin City, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Yeah, that was where that was all before Boy Meets World. The Shield, The Sopranos, Castle, Parks and Rec, Suits, Grey's Anatomy, and so many more. This was a good get for Boy Meets World when it came to casting.
Who does he play on,
and then,
on Parks and Rec?
He had like a 3-episode guest stint. I forget which character he played, though. Makes me want to go back and watch and figure out which 3 episodes he was in, though. And then the future son-in-law is played by Scott N. Stevens. What's his name there? Eddie. Eddie, the kindergarten teacher. He has 47 acting credits to his name. Shows like Wings and Murphy Brown, Seinfeld, Coach, Just Shoot Me, Smart Guy, Time Cop, Soap Stockings, Dawson's Creek, and he's still acting today in 2025. So we get Stan and Steve. I said Steve, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're having a conversation where Stan wants to bring his future son-in-law into his company to provide for his daughter. My daughter likes to drive Jag convertible. How are you going to provide for her and keep her in a Jag convertible in your job as a kindergarten teacher?
Kindergarten.
Clearly, this young man does not hold the type of respect for Stan the plumber man that Stan thinks he is owed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, he refers to him as Stan, not Sir, not Mr., whatever Stan's last name is.
Well, Cory just refers to him as Sir, and he goes, Sir, I like that.
Yes, he does. Yeah. But I wonder, is his daughter so demanding, or is this just him? Because we never really meet the daughter. We just get the brief moment with her in real world, and we get imaginary
two,
daughter.
two, two dreamlike sequences. Yeah, this is a great example, Brett. How it's unfortunately women tend to be just props on the show. It
Unfortunately,
was one
yes.
thing when it was a random teenage girl who only showed up for 5 seconds, but now we're getting to the territory of full-grown women who have no agency.
Yeah. Yes, and this is honestly, this is absolutely horrible, because this whole plot is, I mean, some of the things Stan says, the whole plot is he wants to marry his daughter off to Cory rather than this man that she's
I
fallen in
choose
love
you.
with and wants to marry. But some of the things he says, they're all lovely with the lights off. You're a virgin? Stan's got his priorities because he wants to marry his daughter off to Virgin Cory because he wants that purity intact there.
He wants a
I have a
nice
girl
boy.
over there on the side. Who doesn't? Stan would really be happy like this with this for his daughter. I mean, this is absolutely horrendous. And yet it's
Mm-hmm.
all played for laughs, and we laugh at it. It's funny. But when you stop and you think through these things and they stack up, it's like, yeah, this really is not good.
No, I mean this kind of is it's like a simplified indecent proposal, except for instead of it being a married person, let me be with your person for a night. It's marry my daughter, and I'll pay
Mm-hmm.
you.
Exactly. Here's your dowry. Now come over here and marry her. And instead of 2 cows and a chicken, it's just $1.2 million.
Yes, it is. I will say I love the chemistry between Corey and Stan the Plumber Man. Like, this is just
Oh,
one
it's
of those
great.
times where Corey has met a hero of his, apparently, and
Uh-huh.
he is also immediately impressed and is also just admiring Corey and his pureness.
That's great stuff. It's as disgusting as some of the dialogue it reveals Stan to be, it's comedy gold to watch the two interact. Their chemistry is spot on.
It is. I kind of wish we. Okay, hold on. I have two wishes. One, I wish that we got more Stan the Plumber Man, at least once or
Yes.
twice. Like, I wish he would have showed up for Corey to Topanga's wedding and say, "Don't do it. My daughter is single again." That would have been hilarious.
Yes.
But B, and more importantly, um, I really wish Tuxedo, or not Tuxedo, Hotel Man would have returned for this episode,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like we needed a real goofball situation, and Hotel Man would have really helped.
Oh yes.
Like, I feel
We
like we could
needed
have
those.
had this 3 episode arc of anytime we're at a hotel for something fancy, he is there.
We did need just one more piece of slapstick to really send it over the top.
Yes, and Shawn is not it for the episode.
No, Shawn's there, but Shawn just really gets kind of smarmy. He just
Yeah.
gets a little slimy there.
Yeah, I will say, Brett, a fan theory or fan thing. If, like, we could have brought someone back and it was like a friend of theirs getting married, because that would have been reasonable, or someone that was close to them at one point is getting married and it just happens to also be Stan the Plumber Man's daughter. All that could have made sense. And here's my pitch, Brett. It should have been Turner.
Mm.
Should have been Turner. You should have just been, hey, Turner is getting married. This is wonderful. And it was this nice big event, and all about how Turner, ran away from money, and Stan hoped that, hey, my family, your family, will really make something beautiful. He goes, I have nothing to do with my family's money. I love your daughter, yada, yada. And you could put an age range there where it's not that far off that it could have been okay. But because
Mm-hmm.
honestly, the guy who is marrying his daughter looks about the same age as Turner.
Oh yeah.
So
I can get behind that story.
it would have made more sense to make it a friend or someone that actually they knew them. Even if Cory didn't know them well, like if like Topanga and Shawn were invited and Angela and Cory were the plus ones, or like Shawn and Angela were invited and they didn't want to go together, so they brought a plus one. Those storylines make sense, but just the Hollywood of, oh, this person said we could be here.
Yeah, I mean, it shrinks the universe a little, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Shrink the universe. Listen, we just talked about Parks and Rec. They shrunk the universe and everybody's happy about it.
Yep. Well, let's check in with Eric then. He's over at the Matthews, where you only see their living room. We don't get to see their kitchen this week.
They don't have a kitchen this week.
They don't have a kitchen this week. No, just the wall. And Alan and Amy are trying to talk him down. He's not ready to take care of another human being. They're reminding him just that he's not ready. He can't provide for himself right now. And he says exactly what he's thinking. I didn't come here for your permission. I came here for your encouragement.
Yeah.
Eric has lost his best friends, his brother, Feeney, and his parents. He is lonely. He has this gigantic hole in his life, and he feels like the only solution there is to adopt Tommy and give him 100% of his attention, because that's the only way to fix that hole.
Yeah. Well, and I will say this too. If Eric was still at the apartment when he's trying to make this decision, it still would be inappropriate for him to want to adopt Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
But at least he could have said, well, I have an apartment, and then could have had the awkward situation of, no, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of him coming to the realization of, I don't have any stability. I can't. Because I love what they do with Alan and Amy. They're very supportive of him emotionally, but very honest with him, which is terrific. But I felt like it's almost like they how do I say this? I sometimes think the writer enjoy the Eric wants to prove to his dad he's more of a man than what he shows himself to be. But Eric already answered the question earlier, and he said, I'm not ready. I can't do that. And in guilt, he feels he probably needs to, and that's never a reason to do something.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like as I go, as much as I enjoyed the episode, I'm like talking myself into hating it.
But we do get that fantastic pulling his shirt through his fly sequence.
What a great bit that was, Brett.
That was a great bit.
One time. Nice.
But Eric goes to call the orphanage to put Tommy on layaway or on hold or whatever you do, and finds out that someone else wants to adopt Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
And we move to Act 3. We find out that there's an issue with Tommy being adopted by this other family because there's an emotional conflict, and it's Eric. And here's where we meet Mrs. Gallagher, played by Nia Vardalos. This is her second of 2 appearances on Boy Meets World, and I didn't give any information on her first because she was uncredited as a waitress in You're Married, You're Dead.
Mm-hmm.
She has 58 acting credits, including projects such as The Drew Carey Show, Two Guys and a Girl, Curb Your Enthusiasm, My Boys, Drop Dead Diva, Cougar Town, Grey's Anatomy, Jane the Virgin, DuckTales, Law & Order, SVU, and of course, the My Big Fat Greek Wedding franchise.
I was going to say, I feel like you're missing something.
Oh, no, you got to lead up to the big ones.
Well, very nice.
The ones that you're most well known for, you got to lead up to those ones.
I got to say, the 2 sequels are, we watch them and we do enjoy them, but the first one is the classic, and you don't need the sequels to enjoy the original for sure. But yeah, my wife and I quote that movie to each other a lot, especially like, you look old, you should get married. We said a lot when we were engaged.
Well, I like the job she does here. It's a very understated performance.
Hmm.
Very simple, very straightforward, and she handles what she needs to do, and she lets Will handle the heavy lifting.
Hmm. But I feel like she's trying to be an adult in the room and try to help Eric understand the situation
Hmm.
with a
She
lot of
is.
good acting choices.
She does. She does. But Tommy only wants to be adopted by Eric. That's the problem. And the
Hmm.
people Eric finds out that the people who want to adopt him live in California. Well, I don't want them to live in California. And Eric decides he's going to be rash and says he wants to adopt Tommy. And Mrs. Gallagher very quickly is trying to rein the situation in, get him into her office before it can get any further. But the cat's out of the bag. Tommy's heard and he's off to pack.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's
I really feel
that's cool.
like they should have had this conversation privately, regardless. First,
Oh yes, yeah, they should have. But there's only so much you can do with Eric in the room.
yeah. Well, there's only so much you could do with 21 minutes in a '90s television show.
Very, very true.
I feel like I'm becoming a little jaded at this point, Brett, because my wife and I have been watching Modern Family as of late, and the
Hmm.
amount of story and intrigue and things that they tie into each other and the things that this family works on, just it blows my mind that in the '90s we couldn't do that.
Different type of storytelling. Yep.
I know it is. It just bothers me.
Yes, you've become jaded. Welcome, welcome to my world.
Listen, I still love the season, this show. I probably still love this episode. It just frustrates me as an adult.
Well, we're going to switch back over to the wedding hall where Shawn wants Cory to take the money. Yep. Yep.
Shawn's a great friend.
Shawn's a great thing. We all love Topanga. Take the money. And this brings us to one of two clips I have for the episode. We'll just watch it and unfold.
Cory, I don't ask much of you. And you. You're his best friend. You're supposed to help him. Help him. Cory, I can't do this all by myself. Now, I want you guys to be taking notes during the wedding so we can decide what we want and do not want for our own wedding. Are you guys listening to me?
Well, fine. If you're not taking the money, I am.
What's he talking about?
Money. We were talking about money.
We don't have any.
I know.
Cory, I wish our wedding could be this beautiful. Don't you ever wonder what it'd be like to have all the money in the world and you could just do whatever you wanted?
No, never. Where do you get these mashuga ideas?
Now, if you're just listening to Good Looking People and you weren't watching on YouTube, the half of the sequence is Cory and Shawn playing Let's Shake Our Heads at each other when Topanga and Angela, who still has not had a line of
Let's see.
dialogue.
Has Angela spoken this episode?
No, she's going to have like 2 lines of dialogue the entire episode, and neither one's come yet. But they're shaking their heads at each other, having their own conversation in between Angela and Topanga looking at each other, looking away. And it's a fun visual gag. But the conversation, no one has told Topanga about the offer that's being made. Cory's clearly not going to tell her. Communication issues abound again.
Yeah, we have to have miscommunication. No communication at all. Brett, let's ask the $1 million question. If someone you randomly went to their daughter's wedding and they said, "I want you to marry my daughter," would you at least not give it a shot and see if he'll give you the money?
Me? No, I wouldn't.
Well, of course not, Brett. You have a heart and a soul. But there's a part of
That's
me that's
right.
like, if
I
Cory
have a
at least
soul.
tries and she rejects the situation, would he at least not give him like a cool 100,000?
Yeah, really. Well, Shawn goes over to Stan, and he's and what I wrote down in my notes is his sales pitch is too slimy.
I gotta say though, I love this scene. Huh? I know what I'm worth, and I got a number in my head.
It's no wonder Stan doesn't bite. He gives him
$20.
$20 to get the hell out of my face.
That's no Shawn, just deal.
Shawn takes his $20 and goes, man. It's
Yeah.
$20.
Listen, Shawn knows his worth. He knows how to get a good deal and a good scam, and he just got himself a dinner.
Today that'd be a good 50, you know?
Give me $100 to get out of my face.
Yeah, really. Oh, yeah, with inflation, that'd probably be $100.
I'm now like,
30 years later.
The inflation for $20 back.
Yeah, it'd probably be $100 30 years later, you know? Anyway, we'll switch back over to the orphanage. And I really like the lengths that Mrs. Gallagher is willing to go to in order to show Eric what is best for Tommy. She's opening these files that you're not supposed to share. She's showing letters from the other kid that the family adopted that wants to adopt Tommy to be a brother to this girl that they adopted, that Sarah would write to them, that eventually stopped coming, not because of anything wrong, but because the orphanage stopped being her family.
Mm-hmm.
And so how much does Eric love Tommy? And so Eric goes over to Tommy's room, and I gotta say, Tommy calling Eric dad is kind of heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
In the midst of all this. But
it's a great scene.
It is. Seeing Eric tell Tommy that he can't be his dad is even more heartbreaking. And it's a long scene, so I couldn't clip all of it, but I clipped a chunk of it for us to be able to see.
You're gonna have a mom and a dad and a house with a big pool and a big sister and a dog named Waldo.
I don't need a dog. I have you. Eric, I'm never going with anybody except you.
I'm not gonna adopt you, Tommy.
Why not?
Because I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Tommy, I'm not going to adopt you.
I don't like you anymore.
I'm sorry to hear that, Tom.
And I'm going to California to be with people who care about me.
Good for you, Tommy.
Yeah. I mean, it's rough to have to see Eric do that, to be put in that position where he has to say that to Tommy, to get Tommy to be able to break free from him, to go with the family who can provide him with everything that he needs to be in a loving and stable environment.
Yeah. Well, I didn't appreciate until this moment as we're going back through it, because, you know, as a parent, there are times that it's really hard to explain something to your child. And I know that Sarah and I try our best to make sure we can always find some explanation. You know, we don't ever want to be those parents that are just like, well, just because. That's just the answer. It's just because, unless they've annoyed us. You know, in annoyance, yes, just because I said so, please stop asking. But, you know, when something big is happening, we try to be like, oh, well, here's the best answer we can give you. And it's either you accept the best answer we got, or you're just going to have to process this a little bit more and take the time. But I like that because Eric's not in that place where he can, like his dad, kind of pull out, this is the explanation, this is Orfini, you know, of, hey, this is why. It's almost like in this moment, he's having a realization of, I don't have the wisdom yet, the wherewithal and the experience to be able to say, buddy, here is why. All he just says is, I'm not going to adopt you. and it's just he knows as much as he loves him, no matter how much time they've had, he has a true, genuine love for this kid. But if he were to adopt him, Tommy would not have as good of a life as what he could have with his other family.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like Tommy throws in with going to California, people that care about me. It's almost like throwing in his face of like, well, they care enough about me to adopt me, but you don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it totally is.
That's rough.
It is. It's heartbreaking. And I'm glad I've never had to be in that type of a situation where I've had to tell a kid something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to tell my kids stuff that hurts them and makes them sad, but I've never had to tell a kid that I'm not going to adopt you so that they have to break a tie with me and so they can go be adopted by someone who's better for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's go back to the wedding. Where no one has yet told Topanga about Stan trying to buy Cory, and Stan's trying to make a last-ditch effort offer.
Okay, just Brett, hold on. If Topanga was told about this, do you think she may have said, "What are you doing? Go for the money. Get the money. We'll wait a couple of years. It'll be fine." Like, do you think she'd be on board, Brett?
No, I don't think so.
I know she would. But just, why aren't you telling her?
Oh, yeah. Cory. Red flag. Woohoo. The bride comes out, and of course...
I love how Cory's going, "I don't even know her." And all of a sudden she walks out, and he goes, "Oh, boy."
Hey! And I wonder if the bride was having cold feet, because she tells Stan it's now or never.
Yeah, but I think that was such the zeitgeist in the 90s for whatever reason.
Yeah. But I tell you what, though, Stan's frown when he turns around after his scowl after
angry.
Giving her away is just hilarious.
Looks like a cat waiting for its food.
Yes. And then Shawn sidles up behind Cory and has his own reaction to the bride, and they have their conversation about imagine the honeymoon, and Cory is imagining eating grapes on the beach with a bikini-clad bride. And then we get the arm spasms, which is some great slapstick comedy.
The way they edited it, too, also of, does anyone object? And you just automatically see his hand go up.
Yep.
Yeah, the funny bits within this is really funny.
Oh, they are.
The going back and forth between very serious moment to really slapstick comedy is rough on you emotionally.
It's whiplash. It is emotional whiplash, but the funny stuff is good. The dramatic stuff is good. It's just they are so much left side, right side. You get whiplash going back and forth sometimes.
Yeah,
there's no buffer zone in between to ease you back and forth.
Right. Well, and it's not like, say, in the episode where Cory is at the college and trying to decide if he's going to do something with the college girl that wants to, and Eric walks in and just goes, "Hey, man, you have to make your own choices, and you have to live with that choice." Like, there's no way to balance these two episodes, like these two storylines together.
Yeah, they don't meet at all.
Eric or Cory call each other, and Eric helps him to realize, what's important in his life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that would have helped out this episode so much.
Yeah, it really would have. But Cory finds himself spasming so hard he's on the floor in the aisle. Stan comes down to help him up, to give a good big speech. Stan thinks he's gonna
snuggles into him on the ground.
Do you mind? I'm talking to my son-in-law here.
Have you ever helped someone up that way, Brett?
Never. But Stan the plumber man does.
Yeah.
When he's got $1.2 million invested into him. But Cory stands up and gives this speech about how love is the most important thing. And even though this is the most beautiful hall he's ever seen to get married in, Cory has a very narrow very narrow view of what kind of place you can get married at. Yeah. I got married in a church that was much more beautiful than that, and I paid a lot less than they would have paid for that hall.
Chapel at a camp.
Yeah, the chapel at the camp was a lot better than that hall was.
Can I just tell you, now that I'm thinking about it, the way the light came in and our photographer, the imagery she was able to get was just stunning.
Mm-hmm.
I got some pictures I need to get large sized, and I'm really excited to do that.
Yeah. And then the wedding crashers leave. Honey, it's their day. Our day will come. And we go back to the Matthews living room once more. Eric's sad because Tommy hates him, and he's going to go be off by himself. And he's going to leave, but Tommy's there at the door because Tommy was going to stop by, and even though he's not happy with him, he didn't want to leave without saying goodbye. And
yeah,
so they're
Tommy's
able to
leaving real fast.
That's a really fast adoption process, but
I mean,
they had
like
to have had that
saying
paperwork moving really
he's
deep.
Flying there to them where they should fly to him, get to know him better here, unless those things have happened off screen, they're saying.
Yeah, like it had to have been the paperwork had to have been done and through, and they had to have already been out to meet him and everything. And I don't know, maybe they're out in the driveway in the car, and he just wanted to stop on the way to the airport because it was just they had to have that break with Eric. I don't know. Magic of TV.
Yeah, that's annoying.
But Eric and Tommy are able to say goodbye with a hug. And then we get a tag where Shawn and Cory are sharing a fantasy where Shawn's making out with the bride and Cory gets the grapes.
Yeah. Nothing says romance, Brett, than slightly making out with a girl with your best friend also having the same fantasy.
Just a few feet away.
And clearly a stage production.
And this is the last time we will see Tommy until 16 years later, because J.B. Gaynor, under the name of T.J. Murphy, will reprise that role when Mr. Squirrels Goes to Washington on Girl Meets World. And and that is the episode. So, Tyler, do you have any deep dives for us?
People. Am I the only one who read the summer reading list?
Well, to our conversation earlier, Brett, the equivalency of $20 from March 1999 to today is roughly, actually, wrong month. We're now in August. Oh, you won't show me August. That's not nice. Well, regardless, we're looking at about $39. Now, to make the point nowadays, you wouldn't give a $40 bill because you don't have those. So it's either a $50, which you weren't too far off, or $100. So, regardless, the joke could still work today.
Oh yeah, I give you $50 to get out of my face.
So, Brett, let's talk about adoption in Pennsylvania. I did not find the actual qualifications from 1999, but let's just go with today, if that's all right.
All right.
Because honestly, it should be very similar. Basically, the first requirement is you have to be at least 21 years old. We don't have an actual answer for how old Eric is, but we can guess he is over 21 years old through context clues. There's a background check for child abuse clearances and undergoing a physical and TB test. There's a home study you have to complete, which is trying to make sure that your home is safe and it's a stable environment. Background check, potentially even doing fingerprinting as well. Some non-family member references as required as part of the home study, and those certain parenting classes that need to be completed in order for adoption to be to go through. And Pennsylvania is a non-discrimination adoption state, so Pennsylvania does not prohibit adoption based on sexual orientation, gender, or marital status. Children over 12, their consent is required for the adoption to proceed. So, 8 years old seems to be pretty young for them to say, hey, know that random guy you just became close with? Yeah, you're not going to see him anymore. But I like to believe that the parents were like, hey, we want him, but we have to make sure he's okay with leaving his buddy.
Yeah.
And we're not going to take him away from that. So, they mentioned Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, which is a Warner Brothers Entertainment property. Created in 1969 by writers Joe Ruby and Ken Spears. The original episodes being called Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? For Hanna-Barbera. It is really funny to me just how, like, the original Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Is only like 2 seasons.
Yep.
But then the amount of different versions of Scooby-Doo Mysteries, the amount of movies that came out. Oh, wow.
They even teamed up with Batman.
Oh my gosh, right? So yeah, the original Scooby-Doo, the new Scooby-Doo movies, All-Star, Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo, Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo Shores, the new Scooby and Scrappy-Doo show, 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, a pup named Scooby-Doo. That was one of my favorites. Though I have to say that probably the span of the 4 movies, I like to refer to them as the Zombie Island, The Witch's Ghost, Alien Invasion. I can't remember that one. I'm not as familiar with, and then the Cyber Chase. All 4 of those are spectacular. I got my oldest to watch both of the first 2, so high recommend them from me. So, in 1999, Brett, average salary for a kindergarten teacher, roughly around the Philadelphia area, would be about $48,000. So, not a bad salary for the time period. And
Not
if
bad.
you consider inflation, it's a lot better than anyone that's getting paid $48,000 now.
Yeah.
Well, Brett, let's talk about it. Plumbers from Angie. We got the top plumbers listed. So, with the top ones I found were AJ's Waterproofing with 4.85. Delaware Plumbing Professionals with 4.66. Hutchinson Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, LLC, 4.19. Zoom Drain, 4.51. Pete Russo Plumbing with a 4.93. Bianchi Bros Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, 4.73. Water Heating in a Hurry, 4.98. Only 48 reviews, though. Let's get one more. Christian home service, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. 4.37. Yeah, so those are some of the big plumbers in the area, Brett. And add more to our conversation about plumbers. I have here. You'll pull yourself up. Okay. The 5 richest plumbers, Brett, of all time.
All right.
So, first of all, there's Charlie Mullins, CEO of Plimco Plumbers. At 25 years old, Mullins founded Plimco's Plumbers at 1979, operating out of a basement in Plimco, UK. So, apparently in 2021, he sold 90% of his company for around $160 to $190 million. And then there's Thomas Crapper, who is an English plumber and a businessman born in 1836. Founded Thomas Crapper and Co. in London. So he was estimated to be worth about 1.5 million at the time, which is roughly about 30 million today. Then you have Harry Hatch. He was a British veteran. Lived over 111 years. Apparently, he was also worth about 1.5 million, and the rough equivalent today would be about 15 million. John Gotti. That would be the same John Gotti, I believe, who the whole crime syndicate was all around.
Makes sense. He would be rich.
Yeah. Claimed about 30 million from plumbing sales. And then Michael Flatley. Believe it or not, the Lord of the Dance knows a way around the drain pipes. So he's a famous man, not because of his plumbing abilities, but he's worth about $220 million. The most famous plumber of all, of course, is Mario. It's hard to put into words how wealthy that man is.
Do, 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 do. Can't hum any more of that if we get copyright striked.
Yeah, so basically, all in all to this, the little bit I was seeing also about how to become rich as a plumber, essentially it's, do an incredible job yourself and then train others to do exactly what you're doing and just make yourself an administrator as quickly as possible. And that's why a guy like John Gotti, who maybe not be the greatest plumber of all time, but when you inherit something and make sure people are doing things right, you can make it streamline and go faster.
That's right.
So, and the big thing now is promoting your business. So, last but not least, Brett, we have Jaguars, Brett.
Ah, yes.
At the time, the 1999 Jaguar XK got a combined 18 miles per gallon, 290 horsepower, V8, 4-liter cargo volume. Wow. Sold the convertible, which is what she has. Original MSRP was $71,330. Nowadays, one of those suckers can go for $7,596. So apparently, Kelly Blue Book gives it a 4.5 for customer rating.
Kindergarten teacher could keep her in a giant convertible now.
Yeah. Well, and I don't have the Volvo at the time because just saying a brand is not helpful to get
No.
an actual car, but Volvo
He's
would be
buying
considered
a Volvo.
safer piece of metal, I guess. So, and those are the deep dives I get for us, Brett.
All right. Well, let's talk about what we learned.
You know anything about the Odyssey?
Huh?
Did I say you could talk?
I didn't teach you that.
My friend Mr. Matthews will lead the discussion.
Do I have to draw you a picture?
What did we learn today? Well, I was reminded of just how much love can hurt. Especially when you're putting someone else first, how much that pain can really just take center stage, and that you should really be prepared for it. If you're going to love someone else, that you should be ready to risk some pain, especially if it's a child. So love hurts. Good looking people, it's worth it, but it can hurt. Mm-hmm. Tyler, what did you learn?
I was kind of just reminded, Brett, that true peace and wisdom can only come through time. Now, even though Stan the Plumber Man had time, he clearly was not as wise as he could be at this moment. But I think, Eric had a real good realization of he's not ready for this. Could Eric take care of a baby? Yeah, I think he could drop everything and take care of a baby, but taking on an 8-year-old is a whole nother monster that can be very difficult to manage, and especially if you feel like you can't and you're not set up to. I'll admit it for myself, having an 8-year-old right now. I don't think I'm qualified, but it's as my son's asking these harder questions that I have to sit back and wonder, how can I give him the best answer I can give him and let him still have a childhood? My son's picking up on a lot of the hardship of the world, and I don't want to bring him into adulthood too quickly. I want to protect him, which I know can sometimes frustrate him and make him annoyed at me, but on the same token, I just want him to not worry about every single problem out there.
Yep.
So, it's a rough age for him to potentially take on a responsibility of a child.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Well.
I'm right?
No, you're exactly right.
So am I done with my education? Can I go?
How would you grade Can I Help to Cheer You?
Well, if I'm solely grading the Eric and Tommy storyline, it's an A+. Outside of the fact of annoyance of Eric being guilted, but I understand that the kid loves him and he wants Eric in his life every single day, and I do get that. I think the way they've made that play out is really good. Everything on that storyline was terrific, especially with Amy and Alan. However, if I'm just looking at the wedding as pure, we are trying to have some slapstick, ridiculous comedy because we've had a lot of seriousness, and don't pay attention to the tears in your eyes. I'd easily give it a C, balancing the laughter and the annoyance I have. So, I guess I'm gonna have to give this episode a B-.
All right. Fair.
Kill it, Brett.
I'm actually going with a B.
Okay.
Yeah. It's two extremes. It's very melodramatic. It's very slapstick. They don't mesh as well as you'd like them to. They don't balance out as well as you'd like them to, but it kind of works.
Mm-hmm.
When in my memory, when I think of them, I always think of them as two separate episodes for some reason.
I wonder why.
Yeah, but the Eric stuff is solid. The Cory stuff not so much, and it's just so much rote stuff that if I had to grade it by itself, it'd be much lower. But it's as an episode altogether, I'm willing to look past some of the stuff and give it a B.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So I owe you a couple of dad jokes before we go.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. So I found a great place online to order sausage. I'll send you a link.
I thought it was going to be a lot dirtier than that.
This is family-friendly podcasting.
Yes, that's what I was like, Brad, you don't make those type of dirty jokes.
One more. Yesterday, I spotted an albino Dalmatian. It was the least I could do for him.
I got it. You put spots on him, not that you saw him. That's so clever.
Yeah. Well, good-looking people, that's it for us this week. Thanks for checking us out and sticking around. We appreciate you, and we'd love to have you give us your thoughts. You can get them to us on our social media channels at dadsmeetworld across Facebook, Instagram, X/Twitter, and YouTube if you're not already watching us there. You can also send us an email at dadsmeetworld@gmail.com, and we'll respond to you across any of those platforms. And you can leave us your review, your 5-star ratings, whatever you think we're worth, wherever you get your podcasts. It helps the algorithms, helps more people find us, lets us share the dad love. So until next time, I'll see you, good looking.
Back to you, good looking.
You know, how can I learn so much every week and still be so stupid? Underpants.
I want to be normal, spud.
Oh, I am never gonna pee again.
Dads Meet World is a production of Headfirst Studios. Headfirst Studios, tell your story.